The state of Kuwait opened the third international pledging humanitarian conference for Syria with a pledge of $500 million in humanitarian aid as the UN issued its largest yet appeal for $8.4 billion in commitments this year for the war-ravaged country. His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah made the pledge at the start of the third annual gathering aimed at easing the suffering of the Syrian people and urged the UN Security Council members to states to act in order to end the political and humanitarian crisis there. More in the following report by Salam Al-Ajmi.
His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah today hoped donors attending the Third International Pledging Humanitarian Conference for Syria would generously contribute to alleviate the suffering of the Syrian people. His Highness the Amir announced a $500 million pledge from the government and private sector of Kuwait to support the humanitarian situation of the Syrian people. His Highness hoped donors would put this tragedy in front of their own eyes and work to heal the wounds of the Syrian people who have suffered a lot. His Highness the Emir said the Syrian crisis has devastated the country, killed more than 210,000 people, and displaced some 12 million others in and outside the country living in harsh conditions. His Highness noted that the crisis has encouraged terrorist groups to flourish in these unstable circumstances. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed praised Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey and Iraq as well as Egypt for hosting millions of Syrian refugees and the services they were providing them with. His Highness noted that the refugees were causing a strain on host countries and triggering social and security problems. His Highness the Emir urged UN Security Council member states to put their differences aside and solve the destructive conflict in Syria, which entered its fifth year, in order to restore stability and security in the war-torn country, end grave human rights violations committed by all parties, and punish those behind these crimes. His Highness the Emir thanked all UN agencies working on the ground, especially UNHCR, UNICEF, WHO, WFP, and OHCA. His Highness the Emir said the comprehensive political solutions should be based on the communiqué of the 2012 Geneva I conference. Leaders from regional and international countries have responded positively to His Highness the Emir's appeal and announced generous pledges at the conference.
UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon expressed disappointment at the international community's failure to address the war in Syria, appealing for donors to generously contribute to help needy Syrians. Addressing the third international pledging humanitarian conference for Syria, Ban said the Syrian people were suffering from the bloody war in their country, calling for punishing those responsible for those serious crimes committed against the Syrian people.
Let me begin by thanking His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah for hosting this humanitarian pledging conference for Syria for the third time. His support and his announcement again in the amount of $500 million contribution is a clear testament to the government of Kuwait's global commitment to humanitarian action. I'd like to again express my deepest appreciation and admiration on behalf of all of us for his compassionate global humanitarian leadership. Thank you, Your Highness, for your leadership and caring hands. I would also like to extend my personal thanks to the staff of all humanitarian agencies and our local partners in Syria and across the region. Despite the dire conditions, you continue to stay and deliver as a lifeline for millions of Syrians. Thank you for your courage and commitment. We are profoundly grateful.
The UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator Valerie Amos said Kuwait has been playing a key role in coordination among donors for the Syrian crisis on a humanitarian basis. During the conference, Amos expressed gratitude to His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah for hosting the conference and for the generous contributions to the help the affected Syrian people.
I join the Secretary General in thanking His Highness the Amir of Kuwait for his generosity in agreeing to host this third pledging conference to support the people of Syria and neighbouring countries. I also thank the government and the people of Kuwait for their continued commitment to the people of Syria. As a result of the leadership of His Highness the Amir, Kuwait continues to play a leading role in humanitarian response efforts across the world and provides a platform for debate and engagement on key humanitarian challenges.
Kuwait hosts the third International Pledging Humanitarian Conference for Syria and yet another show of leadership by the Arab Gulf country, which has rushed to help the Syrian people since the breakout of their crisis over 5 years ago. As many as 78 countries and over 40 international organisations gathered in the Kuwait for the third time in 3 years with the aim of higher pledges to help the Syrian people. Here is more on the opening of the conference in this report by Salam Al-Kandari.
Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs Sheikh Mohammed Al-Abdullah Sabah described as very good the level of representations to the Third International Pledging Humanitarian Conference for Syria. Sheikh Mohammed Al-Abdullah also said that Kuwait was closely cooperating with the UN Development Programme, the UNDP, to carry out development projects.
First of all, I would like to welcome you all to Kuwait in Bayan Palace, the Tahrir Convention Center. It is a great honor for Kuwait to host the third consecutive Donors Conference at the request of His Excellency the Secretary General and the United Nations. I have two main messages I would like to convey to you. Number one, there is a great positive feeling within the delegates right now. There is a belief that we will be able to gather a substantial sum of pledges that will go towards the UN target. The second issue I would like to inform you is that Kuwait has led and is leading a new directive now by which we will try to direct our pledged funds towards a developmental type of donation. So it's not only a cash type handout, but we are looking for a developmental type return as a result of the length of this of the Syrian issue. We believe that there is a requirement to provide our Syrian brethren with the means that that will allow them to live life to their fullest by enacting small handicrafts or small businesses that will have a big return on their families. These are the two main issues.
First of all, I must say that we are attending here a very important conference. It is well known that the Syrian crisis is the worst crisis of the 21st century. And thank God that the international community is not really helping, that is to say, represented in the Security Council, but Kuwait, in accordance with the guidance of His Highness the Amir of Kuwait, has decided to work very hard, and this is the third conference for pledges to help the Syrian refugees. That is why His Highness was given the exceptional title of Leader of Humanitarian Work in the World, and up till now we have heard many pledges and commitments, and I hope that what's being done now will facilitate somehow the suffering and the misery of the Syrian refugees.
I think it's an extraordinary demonstration, both of generosity and of wisdom, by His Highness the Amir of Kuwait. Generosity, first of all, Kuwait has been in the forefront, leading the humanitarian support to the victims of the Syrian conflict. And thanks to Kuwait's initiative, many others have been able to come and join their efforts to support all those that are suffering so much with this endless war. But at the same time, wisdom, because it is clear that this war is not only a dramatic humanitarian catastrophe. This war is a huge threat to the regional stability and now to global peace and security. So to convene the international community in order to be able to support both the refugees and the host communities and the people suffering inside Syria is also a remarkable contribution to allow for this war to be as much contained as possible and to limit the terrible impact it has in the region and in the world.
Saudi Arabia announced $60 million pledge for Syrian people, while the United Arab Emirates announced a $100 million for the Syrian deprived of homeland, and the United States of America pledged $5.7 million toward easing Syria's humanitarian crisis. Belgium ambassador to Kuwait, Andy Dittel, announced that his country is pledging €10.5 million to the Syrian help cause. Reactions of various participating delegations centered on the appreciation of His Highness the Amir of Kuwait, Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, for the tremendous cooperations, achievements and contributions to the human cause and the stability in the region. From Bayan Palace, this is Salim Kendiri reporting for the English News.